Hey gang, it's Bryan from FXBilliards. Today we're going to talk about the mid-range draw shot. The reasons this shot is so important is because theoretically, this is the average shot that you're going to have if you have to shoot a draw shot. Of course, theoretically. And if you have this shot, you probably have two other things. You probably have a long draw shot, whether you realize it or not, and you probably have a short draw shot. This is going to be a list of examples. Of course, I can't cover every possible scenario, but I'm going to give you a couple that just come up off the top of my head in situations where I think you can use this shot. But let's look at the importance of control on this mid-range draw shot and why it would be an issue. So here we have a situation where we are playing 9-ball. I like to give you guys 9-ball layouts, but this all translates to 8-ball just as well. And we're on the 1-ball and we want to get on the 2. Now, if we shoot a stun shot here, I can actually make the 2-ball from a lot of different places. But what we're trying to do is get on the 2 in a way that we have a shot on the 3 in the same pocket. Now, some of you are saying, well, I could play the 2-ball here and I'm going to play the 3-9 combination. No, not anymore. So what we're going to do is look at controlling our speed so that we can land between these balls and get on the 2 in a way that we can shoot a draw shot here to play the 3 in the same pocket because we have a great opportunity to run out. So this is what we're talking about in controlling your speed with the mid-range draw shot. So we have an angle now where we can play this 2-ball and get on the 3 for this side pocket. We can stun it and play it down there if we want. I like the idea of playing it in that side. So I'm going to put a little tiny bit of draw here. And now we're on the 3-ball here. And we are pretty much going to be out because the 4 is sitting in the pocket. As long as we don't screw up this position here, getting on the 5, then we're going to be out. So that's the importance of the mid-range draw shot. Now, let's look at another situation while we have this table layout. We're going from the 5 to the 6 this time. Some of you might not even recognize the draw shot yet, but here is another mid-range draw shot. We're shooting the 5 with low right-hand spin to come around so that we can get shape on this 6. And if we get shape on the 6, in a way that we can either move into line with that 7 or come off of 3 rails to get to that 7, it's going to be great. And we'll, as I said, we're going to be out. But we need to get down here in a position that we can do that because we don't want to play the 5 and then play the 6 here and go back for the 7 unless we have to. A lot of you can pull it off. It's not a low percentage shot for a high-ranked player. But if we can get a little 3 or 4 foot shot on the 6 and not have to play a long shot on any of these balls, that would be great. So here's our next mid-range draw shot. This is low right-hand spin to come off of 2 rails to get on the 6. So now we're on the 6 and we have a great angle on the 6 that will allow us to get on the 7. And as I said earlier, we're out. So I'm going to shoot this. All of that as a result of 2 mid-range draw shots. Let's talk about how to avoid having to shoot these shots with perfect speed control. First thing we want to do is acknowledge the rails. Drawing back to the rail gives you so many opportunities. And you need to learn to not just make that shot, but make it as we did earlier with a little bit of left or a little bit of right spin, which we'll talk about even more. Also, moving in line with the shot. If I shoot a stop shot here to play the 2 down there and then have to shoot a perfect follow shot to get on that 3-ball, that's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than I want to do, frankly. So what I'm going to do is play the draw shot here, come off the rail, think in terms while you're thinking about your position of coming off the rail, and we're going to move in line with the 2 in a way that we'll have automatic position on the 3. Once we make the 3, it's a wrap from here. We can do it any way we want. So let's learn how to get on that 2 and then have automatic position on the 3. If we overhit this by as much as 3 feet, we're still going to have perfect position on the 2 ball. We just don't want to stay on this rail. So we come down with just enough speed to bounce off the rail, and now we do it again, getting off the rail for the 3 ball. And now we can play the 3 in the corner. We've got the 6 as a layup in the side pocket. And by the way, guys, those of you who avoid using the side pockets or were taught by somebody to avoid using the side pockets, that person owes you a letter of apology. Because not only did they eliminate a third of the table from your game, but eliminated your ability to get position on about 80% of the table. We're just going to tap this end, and we'll play a long shot down table on the 9. In case my back is to the camera, we made it. So, I want to show you one more situation. There could be thousands of them, literally, guys. But I'm going to show you one more just to give you an idea when we talk about these mid-range draw shots. Some of you might think this is a long draw shot. It's not. It's a mid-range draw shot. I'm going to show you all the reasons why. And after this segment, I'll show you how to execute these shots if you don't already have it in your game. Now, we are on the 1 ball, and we need to get on the 2. Not simple unless you have this mid-range draw shot, because we're going to come off the rail here with low right, head over here off of this rail and move in line with the 2 ball. Once we make the 2, which is our only problem shot right here, the 3 on the side, the 5 in the corner, the 6 will be able to go anywhere we wanted to, the side, the corner, wherever. We'll probably play it in a way that we can get down here on the 8. You'll see. But this is low right hand spin. I'm going to really let my stroke out, which is another great thing about these shots when you're using the rails. You get to let your stroke out, and now everything from here to here, I have shape. Why? Because I'm moving in line with this shot. So we tap in the 2 ball. I'm put a little bit of right on this just to keep it away from the 9 ball. And now we could just shoot a little follow shot. Actually, I'm put a little stun on this. I'm going to be daring and flirt with that corner pocket, right? That's always fun. If you know where the ball's going, it's not risky. Let's shoot another draw shot here. This, once again, is a mid-range draw shot. We're going to shoot this with low left, come off the rail with English to go around the 6 ball. Now, we are not on the best position. We're not in the best position to get on this 8 ball, but we're going to get on that 8 ball. We're going to play this. I'm going to put a bunch of draw on this, and we're going to move out and get lines on that 8. Just like that. So, hopefully you don't get as exotic as I shot that first shot, and you don't have to do anything special like that. But that shot I just took actually falls into the category mid-range draw shot. Some of you are going to say, no, that was a long draw shot. You went off of 4 rails, for God's sakes. No. Once we put all of that English on it, and we have running English on the shot, it becomes a lot easier. It is the same stroke in many cases as the shorter shots. Because of all the English coming off of all the rails and aiding the ball around the table, the shot can travel much further with the same type of stroke. So maybe a couple miles an hour faster, but remember, anytime we're adding English to these shots, we are aiding it around the table and we don't need quite as much draw. So we tap this in the side and it's a wrap. And if we're playing 9 ball, of course, we'll tap this into the corner. So how do you shoot the mid-range draw shot? Needless to say, you should have a short draw shot. Needless to say. It's not how I talk, guys, when I'm not on YouTube. I say, you need to have, you need to have a draw shot of some type, okay? Anyway, so you need to have a draw shot of some type. If you have a good draw shot, you can fast forward about 60 seconds. If your draw shot is in need of help, which a lot of players, that is the case, I'm going to show you some basic things that you're probably doing wrong. If you're scooping the ball, you are not hitting the ball too low. You are simply not hitting the ball. You're hitting the table underneath the ball. If you hit this ball low, assuming you have a proper tip on your cue, assuming you have good follow through and you've kept the cue as level as possible, you will not scoop the ball. Even the best players in the world scoop the ball sometimes, but it is not because they hit the ball too low. It is because they went under the ball. You can stop blaming your 25-cent Masters chalk for your miscue. It most likely was you. You dipped your shoulder, you dipped your elbow, you moved or did something during the shot because you knew you had to put all that effort into it. So what you want to do, I like to make a closed bridge. You can use an open bridge if it works for you and you're not going to jump up and throw your cue up in the air and you still have good aim. If you have a good stroke, use your closed bridge, your open bridge. I like a closed bridge for draw shots of just about any length. And here you have a nice solid bridge, a loose grip on the cue back here, good follow through, and you don't need to hit the ball hard, which brings us to the next point. The softer and more precise you can hit these shots, the better control you're going to have on them. If you're a guy or a lady that has to slam the ball to draw it back at all, chances are you're not hitting as low as you could, you're not following through good, you're not holding the cue loose on this end and tight on this end. You're doing one of those things incorrectly. And the way to develop the shot is to shoot a bunch of them as soft as you can and get the ball back to the rail, because that's where your control is going to come from. So what we're doing is progressing. Those of you that are familiar with the channel and familiar with my teachings, you know about the acid test. I just put balls along the center of the table and shoot them in with draw shots into the far corners and bring the cue ball back to the rail. Sometimes I try to bounce off the rail and come back up. Sometimes I just try to touch the rail. But when you shoot these, what you're going to be doing is just trying to touch the rail, because it's all about speed control. And what I want to do is come back to this rail and not bounce all the way back up, which is very easy to do. It's a lot easier to do than to have the ball touch the rail and stay within one diamond of this rail. So the acid test looks as you see it on the screen. This is how you execute it. Just give yourself ball in hand, behind the head spot here. You're down on the shot. You're going to follow through. Stay down on the shot. Let the ball come back and just touch the rail. That is something that I use for practice. Every time I practice, every single time, I shoot anywhere from 25 to 50 of those, and I'm pretty good at it. So if I'm shooting that many and I already have the shot down, imagine how important the shot is to me. That's how we do it. So how do you control the speed? You control the speed by developing the speed. How do you develop the speed? You shoot tons of these, and you don't shoot them from here to develop that speed. You shoot it from here. A lot of you already have this shot. Now, when you're dropping them in that corner pocket, one after the other, you come back here and you say, okay, I'm just going to touch this rail. And then you come back here and you say, okay, I'm just going to touch this rail. And you get good follow through, a nice smooth stroke, and that's going to help you develop that speed that you need. But what are we going to do if we have an opportunity? We're going to move in line with the shot. If you want to practice your speed control on these shots, you can mark off the table, shoot draw shots at different distances. So you say to yourself, I'm going to come down 4 diamonds, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's say you want to come in that zone. Allow yourself to shoot these at different angles in different speeds until you're coming down into that box. And when you can drop in that box over and over again, or exactly on that dot, then you're going to be in good shape. So this time, let's say you want to come the length of the table and touch this rail and stay within this diamond. You're not trying to overshoot the shot, but it allows you to let your stroke out. Came a little short on that one, came a little short on the other one actually. You do it again. I want to come in this box here, right here, between these two diamonds. You shoot it again. Now the interesting thing about this, guys, is even when you do it well, okay, so that's pretty good right there. It changes depending on the angle that you take. So on that angle, it might be a 5-foot draw shot. But if you shoot it straighter in, then it might be a 4-foot draw shot. So make sure you eyeball exactly where you want to go when you're practicing them. So guys, hope that works for you. If you have any questions, if anything I can help you out with, hit me in the email, hit me in the comments section. Don't forget to go to nwqpool.com for our online. It is a 75 video course. It is very inexpensive. There is a discount code in the description of this video, and it's 6 hours worth of information that regardless of your level, you could use. Have a great day.